Tattoos. Love them, hate them. They have taken over this nation, now with 1 in 3 Brits inked. The problem lies within employability, as 37% of managers now think that tattoos as one of the most limiting attributes to career potential. We want to find out why by asking people on all ends of the spectrum.
Do I face prejudice? Yeah, I'd say so. I've had very certain remarks from people working in shops, people just on the town. People kind of look at you a bit differently, especially in summer if I wear shorts and like an open shirt or something at the beach. People, they assume you're up to no good, they assume you're doing something bad because it has this stigma to it still, linked from the olden days when people used to have them. I think I was in, I went to like a Tesco Express once or something, and some cashier behind the till told me I'd never get a job with all my tattoos, and I looked her straight in the eye. I went, I work in a hospital, you work in Tesco's, who's got the better job? Like, I don't see why it makes a difference. And her having her job had to just tell me I had a nice day and I went home. Meet it with kindness, don't meet it with anger, any prejudice, because it's just not worth it. Working in a hospital and having the amount of tattoos that I do can be difficult. Like, I've got the dress code here from my work that I had to get to come here, and it says visible tattoos are to be discouraged and where present should not be offensive to others. Where they are deemed to be offensive, they should be appropriately covered. I don't want to make the trust look bad, because it doesn't look bad. It's very helpful with me and my tattoos. It has my back for it as an employee. But in the dress code, there is the word discouraged, and that causes a bit of alarm with people with tattoos, because you read that and you think, I can't have a job here. I can't work in a certain firm, I can't work in a certain place because they don't want me to have tattoos. But they have to be as vague as possible to the patients and to the employees. They have to have a lot of leeway where there's a lot of opinion in it, because what might be offensive to someone else might not be offensive to another person, and it depends what you can do to cover it, kind of thing. It's something that people look at in a weird light, because a lot of the people that we would come into the hospital, a lot of the people we have come in patients-wise are elderly, and they're from a different time when it wasn't a normal thing. It's something that was to be scared of at that time. It was people who were dangerous, people who had been to prison, people who had been in gangs, been in the army. And now that that's all changed, but they don't know that. In certain firms, if the firm isn't big enough, if it's a small firm, they can follow their own sets of rules and regulations and still comply with human rights laws. Like, saying you don't want an employee to have tattoos it's not a law. You don't have to employ someone just if they fit the job. You can just say no. You could be the perfect person for the job, but their excuse could be you're too perfect and not hire you. That is their choice. And unfortunately, that is the way it works with employment. I've had a lot of that. Applying for different jobs, people said you've got visible tattoos on your arms, you've got visible tattoos on your chest, and it's not good for income. They became a fashion statement, and they go in fads because you've had tribal, you've had Indonesian, you've had realism, and now old school, and it's all kind of linked to different times in different years and stuff. But I think because it was endorsed by celebrities so quickly and wrapped up so quickly, that people started just to follow the culture where it was going, where the world was going. People just follow. As people grow up and go through the times, you notice it more. So it's like a 50-year-old person may get to 80 and they've been so accustomed to seeing tattoos now that it wouldn't bother them to go up to someone else in that time. But I think where we are right now in history, we're going through a time where tattoos are in vertigo. You don't know yet. People are still trying to figure it out. Eventually, I think it will get to the point where everyone will have at least one. It will just be a thing that happens.
I generally employ other directors and managers, and it's rare that in the accounting world, which is the world I live in, that people have tattoos that are visible. But if one had turned up, it wouldn't be something that, for the roles that they were doing, that they'd be doing for me, that I would look on particularly fondly or positively. People who are in positions like my own would look at someone, say, coming through the door today. First thing they would think is, probably what are they doing here? They probably also instantly make an assessment of what that person is. Because the reality is, in a job interview, even if you've got no tattoos, you're probably within the first few seconds of coming in the door, you've either got a much stronger chance of getting the job or a much lesser chance of getting the job just from those first impressions. And a lot of the time a tattoo will give a first impression that isn't positive for many employers. It's more about the impression that visible tattoos will have on our clients and the people that we're dealing with outside the company. It's people's perceptions, really, that are the issues that we have. If I was to get a tattoo and I was coming to work in my suit and tie, it wouldn't matter if it wasn't visible. But if I had, a big spider's web on my hand or my face, it probably wouldn't be good for business. I don't think that a tattoo necessarily defines who you are, but it's other people's prejudices that define what they think you are.
Although more accepted, tattoos are still a questionable subject. Some employers may not find them much of an issue, however, there is still a small percentage that do. Although controversial now, who knows what will become of tattoos in 10 years' time.
I want saucing on you. I'm swagging.